Welcome back, FinTech homies, for another deep dive. Last time we were navigating the power dynamics of Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power, all those strategies for, influence and self-preservation.
Right.
This episode, we're switching gears, going from power plays to building wealth.
Ooh.
And our guide is the richest man in Babylon.
It's a fascinating transition going from the strategic maneuvering of the 48 laws to the timeless principles of wealth building.
Yeah,
The richest man in Babylon uses parables set in ancient Babylon to deliver financial wisdom that still resonates today.
exactly. So imagine you're transported back in time to ancient Babylon, a bustling city of merchants and traders and, well, probably a lot of camels.
Brother boy.
In this world lived Arcad, the richest man in the city, but he didn't start out that way.
Yeah.
These parables tell the story of how he went from a humble scribe to the wealthiest man around.
And one of the first things the book emphasizes is that building wealth isn't about magic or luck. It's about understanding and applying simple, universal principles.
Okay, so spill the tea. What are these simple rules of money that have been working for centuries?
Well, the book lays out 7 of them, calling them the 7 cures for a lean purse.
Yeah.
Now, I know purse sounds a bit old school, but think of it as, your financial well-being, your overall wealth.
Got it. So cure that lean purse. What's the first step?
The very first cure is start thy purse to fattening. It's
Yeah.
all about paying yourself first.
Okay.
The book advises putting aside at least 110th of your earnings before you even think about expenses.
That's interesting. So before rent groceries, that new gadget you've been eyeing, pay yourself first. How does that actually work in the modern world?
Think of it like setting up an automatic transfer to your savings account or scheduling regular contributions to your investment portfolio.
Okay.
We have so many tools available today to automate our savings. It's almost like we're outsourcing that first cure to technology.
So we're basically letting our robo-advisors be our ancient Babylonian moneylenders. I like it.
I like.
But the book also talks about controlling expenses. Isn't that where things get tricky, especially with all the temptations of modern life?
The second cure, control thy expenditures, is all about budgeting and being mindful of where your money goes. The book warns against falling into the trap of thinking that necessary expenses should consume all your income.
Right. Those needs have a sneaky way of becoming wants. But how do you differentiate between a genuine need and a want that's maybe disguised as a need?
And this is where a little self-reflection comes in. What are your necessary expenses? Could any of them actually be reduced or eliminated?
Right.
Maybe you're paying for a subscription you don't use or eating out more than you need to. It's about making conscious choices.
I know for me, food delivery apps were a big one. I had to ask myself, is convenience really worth that much? But okay, back to those cures.
Yeah.
We've got saving and budgeting down. What's next?
The third cure is where things get exciting. Make thy gold multiply. It's all about putting your money to work for you. The ancient Babylonians didn't have index funds or ETFs, but they understood the concept of investing for growth.
So how did they make their gold multiply back then? Did they have chariot-powered stock exchanges or something?
Not quite, but they invested in businesses, real estate, and ventures that had a potential to generate income.
Gotcha.
The idea is the same today. You invest your savings in assets that have the potential to appreciate over time.
Yeah, so we've got pay yourself first, control your spending, invest your savings. These are starting to sound like those personal finance books you see everywhere. But this wisdom is coming from ancient Babylon. It's incredible how these principles have stood the test of time.
They have, and that's what's so powerful about The Richest Man in Babylon. It strips away the complexity and shows us that the fundamentals of wealth building haven't really changed all that much.
But I have to admit, even with the best intentions, sometimes those lean purse moments still happen.
These do.
What are some of those other cures the book offers?
Well, the fourth cure is guard thy treasures from loss. This speaks to the importance of protecting your wealth.
Makes sense. So what's the ancient Babylonian equivalent of a diversified portfolio or insurance? Camels with body armor.
Not quite, but they did emphasize making wise investments and seeking counsel from those knowledgeable in handling money. They understood that taking unnecessary risks could lead to losing their hard-earned wealth.
So basically, don't bet your entire life savings on a chariot race.
Exactly. It's about avoiding those impulsive decisions that could jeopardize your financial security.
Speaking of security, what about that dream of owning your own place? Did the Babylonians have mortgages and real estate agents?
Maybe not in the same way we do, but the fifth cure, make of thy dwelling a profitable investment, highlights the importance of owning your own home.
That's interesting. So they saw homeownership as a path to building wealth even back then.
They did. They saw it as an asset that could provide stability and potentially generate income. Of course, owning a home today comes with its own set of complexities, but the underlying principle remains relevant.
This is really making me rethink my assumptions about ancient Babylon. They sound a lot more financially savvy than I imagined.
They were, and the book delves even deeper into planning for the future with the sixth cure, ensure a future income.
So they were thinking about retirement planning even back then. Did they have Babylonian 401ks?
Maybe not in the same way, but they understood the importance of providing for themselves and their families. In the long term, they might have invested in land that would generate income or set up apprenticeships to ensure a stream of future earnings.
It's amazing how those core ideas translate so well to modern times. What about the final cure? What's number 7?
The seventh and final cure is increase thy ability to earn. This is all about personal development, honing your skills, and seeking opportunities to increase your earning potential.
So basically, always be learning and growing right. Don't just settle for where you are. Always strive to improve your skills and knowledge.
Exactly. It's about investing in yourself, whether it's through education apprenticeships or in the modern world, online courses and workshops. The more valuable you are, the more you can earn.
So we've got these 7 cures, each offering timeless wisdom for building wealth. It's incredible how the richest man in Babylon manages to distill these complex financial concepts into such simple, actionable advice.
It does, and it's a reminder that building wealth is less about complicated strategies and more about cultivating good habits and understanding those fundamental principles that have been working for centuries.
But I'm curious, how did the richest man in Babylon himself actually learn these principles? Who was his financial guru?
That's where the story gets even more interesting. Let's dive into Arkad's journey, his mentors, and the challenges he faced on his path to becoming the wealthiest man in Babylon. Arkad's story begins with a burning desire to understand the secrets of wealth. He wasn't born into riches. You see, he started as a humble scribe.
So how did he go from scribbling scrolls to stacking gold? Was there some ancient Babylonian version of rich dad, poor dad?
You could say that he had a mentor, Algamish, a wise money lender who took him under his wing. Algamish taught Arkad valuable lessons not through lectures or textbooks, but through real-life experiences and stories.
It's fascinating how storytelling played such a crucial role in passing down financial wisdom back then. I guess those parables in the book itself are a reflection of that tradition.
Exactly, and through Algamish's guidance, Arkad learned 3 key principles that formed the foundation of his financial success.
Okay, give us those golden nuggets of wisdom. What did Algamish teach Arkad?
First, Algamish emphasized living on less than you earn. This echoes the first 2 cures we talked about, paying yourself first and controlling your expenditures. It's about building that solid financial foundation.
So basic budgeting, but with an ancient Babylonian twist. What was the second lesson?
The second lesson was to seek advice from those who are experienced and knowledgeable in the areas you want to learn about. Arkad wasn't afraid to ask questions and learn from those who had already achieved what he desired.
Sounds like a pretty solid strategy, especially in today's world where there's so much information and misinformation out there. It's about finding those trusted sources of guidance. But did Arkad always follow this advice?
Well, not initially. The book actually tells a story about Arkad's first investment venture, which unfortunately ended in disaster.
Sounds like someone didn't heed Algamish's advice. What happened?
Arkad entrusted his hard-earned savings to a brickmaker who claimed to have knowledge of precious jewels.
Wait, a brickmaker turned jewel trader? That seems a bit suspicious.
It was. The brickmaker ended up losing all of Arkad's money in a foolish overseas venture.
Ouch, that's a painful lesson to learn the hard way. I bet Arkad wished he had stuck to scribing scrolls at that point.
He probably did. But this experience taught him a crucial lesson. Seek advice from experts within specific fields, not just anyone who claims to have knowledge. If you want financial advice, go to someone with a proven track record in finance.
Makes sense. Don't trust a brickmaker with your investment strategy right. But I'm sure Algamish helped Arkad recover from this setback.
He did. Algamish used this failure as an opportunity to teach Arkad about the power of compound interest. He explained how even small amounts of money consistently invested over time could grow exponentially.
Ah, the magic of compound interest. It's like watching a tiny seed grow into a mighty tree.
Exactly. And this concept is just as relevant today as it was back then. Think about index funds. Long-term growth investments, they're all about leveraging the power of compounding.
So instead of trying to get rich quick schemes, Arkad learned that slow and steady wins the race right.
Precisely. And the third lesson Algamish emphasized was making your gold work for you through investment. This ties into the third cure, make thy gold multiply.
So this is where things get really interesting. We've talked about saving, budgeting, and investing. But how did Arkad actually put these principles into practice to become the richest man in Babylon? What specific strategies did he use?
That's a great question, and it leads us to another fascinating part of the book, the Five Laws of Gold, that Arkad passed down to his son Nomasir.
So Arkad learned these valuable lessons from Algamish and eventually achieved immense wealth. But did he just hand over all his riches to his son Nomasir and say, here you go, kid, enjoy?
Not at all. Arkad was wise enough to understand that true wealth wasn't just about passing down money, it was about passing down knowledge. He wanted to equip Nomasir with the same principles that had guided him to success.
So what did he do? Did they have some father-son financial seminars in ancient Babylon?
Think of it more like a clay tablet version of a family wealth management plan. Arkad inscribed what he called the Five Laws of Gold on a clay tablet for his son.
A clay tablet. That's so cool. Okay, I'm ready to hear these ancient financial commandments. What were the five laws of gold?
The first law is gold cometh gladly and in increasing quantity to any man who will put by not less than 1/10 of his earnings to create an estate for his future and that of his family. It reinforces that principle of paying yourself first, of consistently setting aside a portion of your earnings for the future.
So that's basically the ancient Babylonian version of automate your savings. What about law number 2?
The second law states, gold laboreth diligently and contentedly for the wise owner who investeth it, so as to earn a fair return, its earnings working as well as the original principle, and increasing the earnings of each. This law emphasizes the power of investing and making your money work for you.
It sounds like Arkad was really into the idea of compound growth, even back then.
Mm-hmm.
He understood that invested money could generate more money, creating a snowball effect.
Exactly. And the third law gets into the importance of seeking wise counsel. Gold clingeth to the protection of the cautious owner who investeth it under the counsel of men wise in its handling.
Ah, so don't take advice from brickmakers who think they're jewel experts.
Got it.
This reminds me of Arkad's early mistake and the lesson he learned about seeking advice from true experts in their fields.
It does. And the fourth law warns against venturing into areas where you lack knowledge. Gold slippeth away from the owner who investeth it in that with which he is not familiar or which others in his behalf do not manage.
So basically, do your research, understand what you're investing in, and don't blindly trust anyone with your hard-earned money. It's about being an informed investor.
Precisely. And the fifth law addresses a challenge that's still very relevant today. Gold flees the man who wasteth it in riotous living, in pursuing the gratification of ill-advised appetites, and in following the alluring temptations of pleasure and the shifting fancies of fortune.
Ooh,
Yeah.
it's a bit of a harsh one. But I guess it speaks to the dangers of impulsive spending and chasing those fleeting desires.
It does. It's a reminder to be mindful of how we spend our money and to avoid those traps that can lead to financial ruin.
So these five laws of gold, inscribed on a clay tablet thousands of years ago, are basically a blueprint for building wealth, aren't they? They cover saving, investing, seeking expert advice, and avoiding risky ventures and impulsive spending. It's incredible how relevant this ancient wisdom still is today.
It's a testament to the enduring nature of these financial principles, but the richest man in Babylon doesn't just focus on the technical aspects of money, it also explores the importance of mindset and resilience.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Give me an example.
Well, remember Basir, the former slave who became a successful camel trader, his story is all about overcoming adversity and having a growth mindset.
Right, Basir. I loved his story. He didn't let his past circumstances define him. He had this amazing determination to succeed.
Exactly. And his philosophy, where the determination is the way can be found, is so powerful. It reminds us that even when faced with challenges, we can find solutions if we have the will to succeed.
And the book uses this amazing metaphor of the walls of Babylon to illustrate the importance of financial security, right?
Yes, just as those walls protected the city from invaders, we need our own walls in the form of emergency funds, insurance, and sound investments to safeguard against financial misfortune.
So it's not just about building wealth, it's also about protecting what you've built, creating that sense of security and stability.
Exactly. It's about having that financial fortress, those strong foundations that allow you to weather the storms that life inevitably throws your way.
This has been an incredible journey from those 7 cures for a lean purse to the 5 laws of gold, and those powerful stories of Arkad and Dabasir, the richest man in Babylon, really does offer timeless wisdom for anyone on the path to financial well-being.
It does, and it's a reminder that while the tools and technologies we use to manage our finances may change, those underlying principles of wealth creation remain remarkably consistent.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one key takeaway you want our fintech homies to remember?
It's this building wealth is less about complex strategies and more about cultivating those simple, consistent habits that lead to financial success. It's about paying yourself first, controlling your spending, investing wisely, and having that resilient mindset that allows you to overcome challenges.
And just as those ancient Babylonians built impressive empires through their financial wisdom, you can build your own financial fortress, one brick or one saved coin at a time.
Well said. It all starts with that first step, that commitment to taking control of your financial destiny.
So fintech homies, we challenge you. Which of the 7 cures or 5 laws of gold resonates most strongly with you? What action will you take today to start building your own financial empire?
Share your thoughts and insights on our social media channels. We'd love to hear your takeaways from this deep dive into ancient financial wisdom.
And until next time, stay tuned for another deep dive into the world of fintech, where we'll explore a cutting-edge development that's shaping the future of finance.